Hey strong people, Kalle Beck here, and going to be talking about the event that happened this weekend, Ultimate Strongman Team World Championships. It featured a few teams, including Martins Lisis and Trey Mitchell III, Latvia / USA really. Pa O'Dwyer and Gavin Bilton, Travis Ortmeyer / Mark Felix, the Hodge brothers, Zach and Nick, the Lawless brothers, Vitalis and Marius, Shivlikov and Janashia, Phil Roberts and Tom Stoltman, and Mariusz Kilsikowski and Rano Hanla. So good athletes competing. They competed in a Husfoot stone, which it was 148 kilos. The first person would go pick it up off a platform. Once they went, they could help position the other person. That person would have to pick it up off the ground. And there's a 2-man log, which is for max weight, which is pretty cool to watch, and it's connected. So it's very much into the timing on it and everything else. A car deadlift for reps. It's 375 kilos. Straps not allowed. Most reps in locked out position wins. A team Hercules hold, and that's about it. The overall results ended up being the Lawless brothers won, so that they're both very strong athletes, Vitatis and Marius, and they probably been around each other more, so have a little bit better teamwork. Some of these people are just kind of like, oh, they got to discuss how to do things day of. So I'm sure that's a lot more helpful. And that was followed by Martins Lisis and Trey Mitchell. Strong turns from them. I think it was really close going into the last event. And then Phil Roberts and Tom Stoltman. And I believe the Hodge brothers got 4th. So, interesting contest. There was also 2 world record events contested. Zydrunas Savickas went for a max log again. I don't know if you've seen the videos. The conditions all day were very wet and rainy, and Tom Stoltman also went for a max stone. On Zydrunas's attempt on the log, there's been a lot of talk on the internet on how it's unsafe. Big strongman competitions like this should never be done outdoors. They should always be indoors. Even I've seen absurd comments like the promoters don't care about the fans or the athletes. Let's get something straight. Zydrunas Savickas has been doing strongman at a higher level, at this high of a level, longer than anyone. I think he is. If Zydrunas does not want to do something, I don't think any promoter is going to force him to do it. I think he is hell-bent on getting that log press record, and he thought he had it. His clean looked great. He just slipped his footing twice. Everyone gets wrapped up in the moment. The promoters are like, oh, let's give him another shot. I'm trying to do it for the fans. Wasn't the safest, wasn't the smartest. Maybe there could have been some sort of canopy or something. But to say strongman should only be done indoors is absurd. Weather is a part of very many sports. It's unfortunate that it didn't cooperate. Myself, I did a contest in 2012 that was in a damn monsoon right off the California coast. And we had a max log, and people were slipping and sliding all over the place. Obviously, this was an amateur contest, and no one paid to come see it. But, and some people just said, I'm not competing today. And they just went home. I did it. I actually hit a PR on my log press. But I wasn't able to use much leg drive, and it was tricky. But it's just, these kind of things happen. You can be better prepared in the next times, have some sort of cover or something. But I think it's getting way too much backlash than it deserves. If we're gonna go that far and say because it looked like somewhat sketchy situations, then you could pretty much say that any strongman promoter does not care about the fans or the athletes. The bale tote or the heavy or the axle for reps at the Arnold had how many injuries, including the one that Zydrunas has been trying to come back from for the last 4 years. from training for the 1,500-pound yoke. I guess none of the Arnold organizers care about the athletes either. We're not. It's a kind of mindset if you do strongman where you don't think about those things. You go for it. You could see on Z's face. He wanted that more than anyone. He wasn't doing it for anyone else but himself. That's my take on it. Don't want to see anyone get hurt. Hopefully he gets a better crack at it soon. But Dan Hipkiss of Strength X was at the show, and he sent in a little write-up, and that will be on startingstrongman.com. But I'm going to read a couple little excerpts of it here, because he was actually there. Also to note that they had the Junior World Championships, which has been a big show. A lot of these names of the people that compete in the juniors end up to do big things. That's where we saw Paul Smith come from. That's where we saw, Nick Hadge won it. Iron Bibby made his debut, I believe, at Ultimate Strongman Junior World Championships a couple of years ago. So that's where it won. So yeah, event 1 was the Husfeldt Stone Carry, and this was an event for distance which really pushed the limits in determination and teamwork. The first athlete outtook the stone off a block and carried until failure. Then the second athlete had to raise the stone from where it landed. Whilst they could be helped by their teammate, it really pushed the guys battling out with the elements. Martins, Lises, and Trey Mitchell won the event with a dominant performance. Two-man log followed, and he notes that there's a lot of rhythm. Teams that should, on paper, they maybe have between them, if you added up their log presses, they have a higher log. Didn't press in unison. He said all the brothers pressed very well together, but Matthias Kilzakowski and Ronald Hanla set a new world record, lifting up 360 kilos. It's, just under 800 pounds? That's absurd. And the thing I find the craziest about that performance is that they have a huge height difference. So, the log was here's Rano, here's Kilzakowski. This is how they ended up. But it worked. Car deadlift for reps was next, without straps and tag in and tag out. So one guy would go, once he was done, he'd tag the other guy in. They had a certain amount of time. This is, yet again, the teams of brothers proved they could work well together. Lawless brothers both got 31 reps, and both pairs looked like they had nothing left, and yet somehow kept going. Well, I guess the Hadge brothers and the Lawless brothers tied on that event. That's pretty absurd. I need to watch video of that, because I imagine Nick and Zach going back and back, tagging each other in and out, was the most intense moment of the contest. If you've ever seen them, you follow them on Instagram, Hadge brothers, they had to be intense. But that would be absurd. I don't know if they got first. It's just, we're not too sure. Then there's a hold for time. And then we'll go to the end. Going into the final event, the Hadges and the Bravehearts were tied for third with the Bears behind them again. This was a do or die for the podium. Nick and Zach Hadge showed their trademark emotion before the event started. These guys are some of the most passionate and driven people I've ever seen. And if you're feeling a bit down, spend 5 minutes talking to them and you'll feel $1 million. You'll feel like $1 million. Phil Roberts and Tom Stoltman walked into the arena like they had a point to prove. Quiet, composed, and ready to do whatever it takes. Phil and Tom stormed through the event, making no mistakes, helping each other, and being efficient. This time it was enough to secure third. In the end, the Lawless brothers had done enough to secure the win. Vitalis had promised last year with the win that Vitalis had promised last year, with Martins and Trey coming to the podium in second. And just go on to talk about that. I think it was another good event by Ultimate Strongman and Glenn Ross. You can go on their Facebook and check it out. And for more information, go to startingstrongman.com, and we'll have the full write-up that Dan Hipkiss wrote. And he's of Strength X. You can look up Strength X on Facebook to follow his page. I'll link it below here. Thanks for watching. I'm Kalle Beck. Of course, go to store.startingstrongman.com for all of your strongman training needs. And if you want to support this channel and Starting Strongman, you can go to patreon.com/startingstrongman for a bunch of exclusive little, you get a bunch of different stuff, and you pledge to keep everything going and us able to bring you more news and and events and cover the sport of strongman. Have a good one.